listening to the Dynamic Women podcast. Each week, you'll be inspired by our global community of women. They'll share with you tools and stories to help you be dynamic in every area of life. Here's your host, award-winning coach, and the CEO and founder of Dynamic Women, Diane Rolston.
Have you ever thought, maybe I should be taking on more? Maybe I should be doing more things that scare me? Well, in this episode of the Dynamic Women podcast, I say, maybe you shouldn't. Hello, my lovely dynamic women, and welcome. I am Diane Rolston, your host. And on this episode, we're going to talk about, should you stop doing things that scare you? I'm going to give you a reason why maybe you shouldn't be taking on too much at this time in life. So American journalist and Chicago Tribune columnist, and well, she's a Pulitzer Prize winner, Mary Schmich, has a quote that I actually live by. Do one thing every day that scares you. And I absolutely love this quote. Now, doing something that scares you each day, it means you're growing, since we're often fearful of things that we haven't done or things that stretch us. And being open to new things and change by welcoming one of these fearful things in every day means we grow our ability to adapt. We grow or increase our risk tolerance and ourselves. But I want to let you know that, I believe that now might not be the time to be doing this. It might be better to pull back on implementing this way of life. At least for me, and maybe it's also true for you. The world is in a bit of chaos. I'm sure you know what I mean. And we're scared to get infected. We're changing how we work, how we shop, how we parent, just generally how we go through life. We can't see our friends. We can't see our family, our loved ones. Even important occasions like marriages, deaths, and births are limited, or they're really just canceled altogether. We're unsure if we'll still have a job, or if our businesses can keep adapting, or weather the storm. So much of our way of life is being dictated by the disease and by the government. Now, I have to let you know, this is not a political piece, just the truth, that with the guidelines and regulations that are being set out for us, for you, things are being dictated for us. And psychologists say we're in a mild fight or flight response to life right now, which is causing our adrenal glands to go into overdrive. Our cortisol shoots up, our bodies feel the stress all the time. Unlike other stressors in life that come and go and come and go, we get this mild stress through life every day. And so this whole idea of doing something each day that scares you can also have the same effect. Though it would be a lower dose of stress depending on the activity, because obviously skydiving probably doesn't count. But if you're already feeling off right now, finding that you can't focus, struggling to get things done, and you're overwhelmed easily, listen up. Now is not the time to challenge yourself with what scares you. It's not even the time to push yourself beyond your limits. It's just not worth the damage it can do to your emotional health, to your physical body, and even your confidence. See, a stressed body just gets sicker easier because your immune system is down, and you know that. But when you're stressed, you have a harder time being creative, visionary, and dealing with obstacles, which are 3 qualities that are helpful when doing something that scares you, or even in just having a successful life. Now, how do I know? Well, I tend to push myself beyond my limits in many situations, and this time I figured it out. You see, my father went into palliative care at the end of July when I was arriving in Ontario for a scheduled visit. I was already feeling off with the whole COVID-19 situation, and I had to make changes in my business. I was dealing with the kids being home since March, and any parent or caregiver knows how hard that is to have them be off and still run your business. So then now, added on to everything else, I'm dealing with my father's death approaching. So now not sure when it's going to happen, not sure what to do with my flights, not sure about canceling kids' camps. I wasn't sure about what to organize with my clients. So I basically canceled everything that brought me mental stress. But I went into overdrive with things that stressed my body physically. Weeding, cleaning, organizing my mom's house. It felt good to get my mind off of what was happening. It felt good to still achieve. And then 9 days later, my father passed away. You'll probably hear about it in more future podcasts. So I'll just kind of leave that for now. But you see, with pushing myself physically, I got a weird rash on my arms and legs from some plant. I thought it was poison ivy or poison oak because Mom had poison ivy earlier in the spring. But was it stress? You see, the places where the plants I got scratched from, the berry bushes, those areas started up first. But once I was days away from the garden and had cream even for the rash, it continued to spread. So was it just stress? And then I picked up a cold and I had to get tested for coronavirus. Yeah, that's fun. And even though it was negative, I haven't been able to kick the cold symptoms. They just keep lingering. You can kind of hear it in my voice right now. Now, as a past varsity rugby player, a competitive soccer player, I know the importance of resting a stressed muscle, a rolled ankle, and being kind to my body after a tough game. But why don't we do this with our emotional health? Because maybe we don't see it? Because it doesn't swell up and hurt the same way? But I know that I would never go and play a game with a broken leg. Would you? Now, you make your own call. If you have life fairly balanced and you want more or you want to stretch yourself, then take Mary's quote and do one thing every day that scares you. Or maybe you decide to do it just once a month or once a week. Again, it's your call. But if, like me, you're feeling overwhelmed, unfocused, and then you can't handle any more, then don't. Because I won't be for now. I won't be living according to this quote. I won't be taking on things that scare me every day. But trust me, I'll keep assessing when I can, because I have so many things that I want to do in this big, beautiful world. I really appreciate you listening to the Dynamic Women podcast. If you haven't yet, please subscribe so that you can get all of the 365 life tools and stories and just support that the goal is for me to be sharing here. And write a comment. Let me know what your takeaway is from this podcast episode and from others. I'd really love to be able to support all my listeners, you, in the topics that serve you most. If you can relate to what I talked about today, or you want to process your emotions more, or come up with some really cool things that do scare you that you want to take on and have accountability for, reach out to me. You can email me, diane@dianerolston.com, or head over to dianerolston.com to just see how else I support lovely women like you. Wishing you the most fabulous week. Until next time, stay dynamic.
Thank you, Dynamic Women, for joining us today. Please hop on over to iTunes to subscribe and leave us a review. Who do you know who needs to hear our message? We'd love it if you'd share our channel with your friends and family. If you're ready to be more dynamic, have more balance and more success, head over to www.dynamicwomenclub.com/free gift for your Key to Success book. Stay dynamic.